Motherfuckers, welcome to hell. So today I'm going to show you probably one of the quintessential sounds you need if you're going to be making hard bass music, the growl. This is important. This is the initial punch to the balls and or titties in your song. That all depends on what you have. So that fits into the greater narrative of this. Exactly. It's nothing too spectacular. I'm just showing some basic structure here because I'm more concerned about showing you how to make the sounds than songwriting. I might get into songwriting later, but I'm not really too concerned about it. So we're going to start with this sound. It's going to be called Big Growl, which is very innovative and creative, I know, but that's what I'm calling it. And it's going to be starting off with Spectral Monster 4 is your Oscillator A. So what I do is I have my detune set to about 10, my blend set to about between 10 and 11, my phase is at 12, my random is at between 10 and 11. You can tweak this. This is all up to your interpretation. This is where I have it. My wavetable position is at 11, and my FM from B is at around between 10 and 11. My pan is at 12, and my level is all the way to the left because I like to automate my envelope to have it kick in. Otherwise, it sounds like this. I don't want that, but you can use that if you want. If you want that big, hit at the beginning, that's fine. But I want it to automate it so it sounds like it's sort of warping at your face instead of just slapping it. I like it better for the movement. So that's what I have. And the reason why I have FM from B, which is right down there, that's where I can speak English, is because I'm pulling the FM from the Oscillator B over to Oscillator A. Without it, it sounds like this. See, so it adds that sort of mean saturation. And that's what I want. So for Oscillator B, I have it set on under digital to Razor. And that's the waveform I chose because I like how it interacts with this and I like how the imaging blends together. It sounded right for what I was trying to do. All of this is up to interpretation. Like, I highly encourage you to mix, match, experiment, do whatever you think sounds better. I'm not the end all be all by any means. In fact, I don't think anybody is. I think, music's art. Art is kind of up to what you want to do and what you want to say. And so that's sort of my opinion on that. Needless. But all right, so I'm going to have my detune set a little bit above 9. I have my blend set a little bit between 12 and 1. My phase is at 12, or it's supposed to be, but I'm fucking around over here. And I have my random set to 10. My wavetable position is between 10 and 11, and I use the bend plus minus because I like how it moves. Watch it. It sounded right. You can experiment with the different bend options. I'm going to use this. So my pan's at 12 and my level's all the way to the left because if you are doing FM from A and B, I like to have the volume all the way down so it only pulls from the waveform, because if you have the level up, it sounds like this. So you hear that like just awful scratch sound at the end because what it is you're hearing the waveform now, but otherwise you're just getting the saturation from the waveform if it's all the way to the left. I prefer that. So now, filter. Go to multi, HN12. This is probably my favorite filter. I use it way too much. The comb filter is cool. They're all pretty cool depending on what kind of genre or style you're using. But we're doing the hard shit right now, and this is a very good filter for that. It moves your sound pretty dramatically, and it sounds very aggressive. Because, if I was going to do like... No, absolutely not. Back to HN12. See what I mean? Because you get those highs coming through. It's just a different filtration. So, in order to get that sound, because otherwise it sounds like this, you have to assign LFO1, and I drew this shape. In order to draw shapes, you double click on the points. All right, so straight here, and then do a bell curve out. All you do is move it like that, That's how you curve it. And then I have a little bit of tail here, so it's, you know, not as, because otherwise it sounds like this. I want a little bit of tail. Just a little bit of tail. Everybody wants tail. So I drag this over here, right? I'm not going to do it because I don't want to fuck it up, because I design these things when I'm baked out of my fucking mind and I'll forget how to do it. And I want it to be absolutely accurate. I want you to get the sound as is. I don't want some weird Frankenstein. I'm sure a lot of us have that problem. And if you're one of those computer savants with a killer memory, all the power to you. My brain just has stopped working. All right, so LFO 1 to cut off, and I'm going to bring it a little past 12. And then I'm going to also assign it to the frequency and bring it a little between 10 and 11, because otherwise it sounds like this. Right? It's not imaged very well. So I like that frequency motion. And the more things you got moving, the better your sound's going to sound. So I also attach it to the level and bring it all the way up, so your sound jumps at you. I attach it to my detune, so it sounds like it's detuning a little bit as the sound triggers. Right, because the detune affects the size. It also affects, you know, the intonation of the sound. I attach it to the wavetable position because, you know, that's what affects this thing moving. It affects your wave moving besides the bend. That's how it sounds normally. I want a little more motion there. Bring it back a little. Again, the more motion you have, the more, I think the more professional it sounds, because it sounds like you're really shaping your sound and trying to do something unique, and also it adds more motion to it, and it makes it sort of sit in the mix more interestingly. We don't need this. Gets reverb out of here. All right, so I also assigned the LFO to the mix under the hyper section of my hyper dimension, and I assigned it to the mix here, so it kind of pops out at you. I also go to distortion, put it on diode 1, and then I attach it to my drive, so it kicks in a little bit to the drive when you're triggering the sound. And I don't have the mix all the way, because the mix all the way up sounds like this. That's cool, but I want just a little less. I want some of that distortion, but I want also some of the clarity of the sound itself. I set my compressor to multiband. I have the threshold a little past 12. The ratio is at about 2. Attack is a little past 9. Release is between 9 and 10. And my gain is a little bit past 9. I like multiband because it squashes everything nicely, and it sounds pretty fucking awesome with hard bass music. I'm just going to keep playing that until you get annoyed. And I just jack up, well, I don't jack up the highs, but I add a little bit of high frequency here. So there's a little bit of bite, because it can get a little muffled sometimes. And I like bite in my sounds. I'm going to turn the lows down. There we go, because the lows are going to get, like, when you're in your mix down, the sub's going to be eating a whole chunk of low frequency. And actually, the only reason I have the sub on here is because I just want it to sound fat for you when you're hearing the sound, because it's how it's supposed to be. In the mix itself, it's going to sound like this. Because what most of you, I'm sure you do, and what I do is I have a separate channel for my sub. And then I mimic the pitch bend, because I like to layer it. It's better for control. It sounds better ultimately. And you have the more control you have in the mix, the better off you are. It's like leaving yourself breadcrumbs. So you have more tweak capabilities and you can edit better. And it ultimately sounds cleaner anyways. So that's pretty much that patch. Oh, and LFO 4, I attach it to I have it set on a half. I brought it down from the top a little bit. I just have that little mountain, and I bring it over to bend plus minus, and I bring it over to the wavetable. Just adds a little flavor to it, and you can, tweak this however you want. It's very, very simple to do. There wasn't a whole lot to it. There's not really a whole lot of automation going on here besides just the LFOs being attached to things. And one thing, I have my attack on my main envelope at 9, holds all the way to the left, decays at 12, sustains all the way to the right, and I have a little bit of release because I like to have like I said, a tail for the growl, so it's not just cut off immediately. There's a little bit of sustain there because the release is up. And that's about it. And now that you sat through all of this shit and me walking you through how to make the patch, I have it available for free download. But I wasn't going to tell you that because otherwise you'd just fucking download it and not bother learning how to do it. And I want you to learn, because if you learn how to make your sounds, you become the master of your own universe. Like, if you rely on presets, you're kind of stuck relying on presets, and a lot of producers run into walls that way. But if you know how to do this, and the more sounds that you make on your own, like, I highly advise you to make your own preset packs, because that's how you learn the synth. It's practice and repetition. It's like cleaning a gun. And that is how you become able to really make what you want and get your ideas out there accurately, instead of having to rely on somebody else's possibly convoluted preset. And yeah, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let you listen to it. So this is what the whole thing sounds like. And, you know, feel free to check out my preset pack. My SoundCloud link is underneath, and hopefully this was helpful for you. And, you know, download the preset, try it out, tweak it, go nuts. I hope you enjoy. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully that was informative. If you want more videos, come on down to my YouTube channel and subscribe. And if you want more music, come on by my SoundCloud channel and shoot me a follow. I'll see you all next time.